Hello, hello, hello. It is not morning. It is actually nighttime. And I think I've really been doing this on Tuesday, but I've had a little bit of a day. I did get some stuff really done. I did work today. Um, all right, so last week I did part two of spiritual warfare and we broke down Ephesians 6, and at some point in there I was talking about, rulers and authorities, and I was comparing that to our government and possibly that we need to look at it a little bit deeper and see that there's entities running the government. Um and we're being influenced by those things. So all day today I have relived last night over and over and over again in my head, and I'm gonna be honest, if I would have known that that was going to happen, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't have showed up to our BOMA meeting last night. I went for a reason, so I feel like I'm going to tell you what the reason was. There is an ARP loan, not loan, but a grant that the city is getting. And the city was trying to see, they have several different groups there trying to tell them why they should invest some of that money into that group for certain situations and projects that need to be happening in the community. Um, I hadn't really been following uh, meetings and stuff like that here in Tullahoma, maybe for the last, I would say, maybe 3 to 4 months or so, just because it is very draining at times. And when I put in that application for alderman, and we went 8 rounds, and I got humiliated, in between rounds, and all of my credentials were tossed out the window, and all of the hard work and dedication to every job I've ever had over the last 14 years wasn't even really mentioned, or you know what I'm saying, yeah, my reference letters, everything. Nobody, I don't know what happened that night in the physical, but I do know what happened that night in the spiritual, right? um and so I've wrestled, for since that has happened. I had made a commitment to be the voice of the unseen and the unheard, I feel like, that are in the community. And I'm gonna be honest, if I would have never got a text message asking me what was next, I probably, would have given up, because I just did not see the point, or I was going to allow that level of humiliation to affect what I had said that I wanted to do when I put the application in. So I am glad that I got the text. It was hard. It was hard because I have never experienced that much opposition except for when I was working at that other job in government. And I love that job. I loved working at that job. But the principality and ruler within that location was awful. And spiritually, I feel like that was my preparing ground. Um and I even when I went through it this time go around, there was points where I forgot, what won that war previously. And it just got it got unbearable at sometimes. You see, so that first job that it had happened at, I remember pulling up to the parking lot sometimes and just crying because I would be getting there an hour before to make sure that things were done right, and the level of sabotage that was happening, or things that were just completely unnecessary. It just blew my mind, and I had never ever experienced that level of opposition ever, especially when you're really doing your job. like I wasn't doing my job to make anybody look bad. I was doing my job because that was really the field that I had wanted to be in. Um, and it's crazy because like the reason why I wanted to be in that field, like even if I did it here, it wouldn't help what the original core thing was, and that was, that's really none of your business. But um, in that, um, God showed me two things. Um, he showed me that I didn't trust him, uh, and that my war really wasn't with individuals. There was really something assigned to that situation, or that place that had authority, and the light can't. They don't like the light because what was happening is as I was doing my job, it was exposing certain things that it just didn't add up. You know what I'm saying? And so um that's why the warfare came in. And like I said, demons, or these persons without bodies, you know what I'm saying, they are able to use individuals. They're able to influence them, and how they talk to you, how they treat you, and everything like that. So long story short, um I remember sitting at my desk. Now this is the previous job, this is before the alderman situation, but I remember sitting at my desk, and like one of the coworkers had yelled at me or whatever, and like loud, and if I tell you the whole story, like anybody else would have probably flipped out, but I was like, hey, you need to go ahead and move somewhere. But um they had asked, um they played the victim, of course, and I never raised my voice at that person or did anything to that individual for them to act like that. And that's when I knew, like, at that point I was like, man, I'm gonna have to get up out of here, because um there's a stereotype for black women more so than anything, and it's called the angry black woman, and I think sometimes people try to trigger that individual to be that angry black woman. But like I've never been the angry black woman in any situations. Actually, a lot of times when I get upset, my voice tone lowers, and I'm starting to try to not be physical. And so I realized at that point that I did have the Holy Spirit, because I still had a peace within me that I was like, you just probably need to move for real. Like, just go ahead and just go somewhere. But I don't know who you're yelling at like that. And then they try to gang up on me and all of this stuff, and like came from a character, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, just hurts your girl whole feelings, okay? And I was in there like, oh, they even brought up my dad passing, okay? And so um I remember um sitting at the desk, and situation had happened where I was not able to. I think I was asking for part-time, because um I couldn't find anybody to pick up Eli, and all of this stuff was happening. And I'm like, every plan that I had tried to do myself fell through. And I keep saying, I remember sitting at this step, I remember sitting at my desk, and on my desk it would say, my screensaver said ready. It said ready to go. It would just spin around like ready to go. I'm sorry. Because as soon as I would get there, I'd be ready to go. Because I can laugh about it now, but it was oh, we had, and I'm not gonna say this, we had some good days, you know what I'm saying? But it was, oh, I would be so scared on them good days to see what's gonna happen the rest of the week. That's how bad it was, you know what I'm saying? And I think that they're, my friends on Facebook, so they're probably gonna get offended when they watch this. And I didn't say no names, so if you get offended, just know what part you played in the story, for real. But I was sitting at my desk, by that time we had the meeting. They had said all of these not nice things about me, flipped the whole meeting on me, made it my fault that this individual yelled at me, all of these things, right? And so I remember sitting at the desk. This is before this other part, but I was sitting at the desk and I was like, all right, you know what? what do I need to do, God? I said, because you keep making me have to stay here, and I'm begging you every day to release me from this place. Every day I was like, God, please release me from this place. Please release me from this place. Like, I'm telling you, I would pull up and I'd be crying, y'all. Like, please, God, like, please really, I can't leave here where I don't got no job. I don't got no way to pay my bills. Like, please release me from this place. Please. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Please release me from this place. I know that I said I wanted to be here. I wanted this job. I probably didn't really even ask you to leave where I was at, because I'm telling you, with the job before that, like, I still go there. Like, I love those people, and I just don't want to work for nobody. So that job that I left to be at this job, that was like, I was crying every day. I was like, oh my God, like, I had my own office at the older job. I had, like, a relationship with everybody. We've been working together for almost like 5 or 6 years. Like, why did I leave there? You know what I'm saying? But anyways, you don't know why you do certain things, because when it comes to spiritual warfare, I was comfortable at that other job and I wasn't growing as a believer. Whew. But I didn't know that I was going to need to grow. So, I'm pulling up every day at this other job crying and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to be here no more. Right? I love doing what I do, but this environment is not for me. And so he was like, you need to forgive them and you need to apologize, even if you didn't do anything. I was like, wait, hold up, bruh. Like, no. So I wrestled with that for like 3 days. And then I was like, you know what? I was like, it look like he ain't gonna let me go. And I don't want to be here sitting here miserable. And I just really want to do my job, because I really love this job. Like, I really loved what I did. And it's still like, sometimes I be sitting like, I really miss doing what I was doing. I don't miss the environment or like the coworkers per se, certain ones. But I do miss what I was doing, because I really love law. I love, you know, making a change. Anyway, so asked for a little meeting, apologized to everybody, and the atmosphere changed back to the way it was when I had first started. So I was like, okay, all right, fine. So, school was getting ready to start. I think it was like July. No, it was like it was the end of June. So it was like June, was it 29th or something like that? I can't remember, but I know that it was getting ready to be July. And I'm sitting at my desk and I was like, looking for jobs. And uh, he said, put your notice in. I was like, put my notice in. I do not even have a job to put my notice in. And I'm sorry, like, I don't know if anybody else has a relationship with the Holy Spirit, but like, he be talking to me like that, okay? And I was like, I remember sitting there, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And I went to like pick up my kid from Cool Kids, and I'll never forget this, but I don't know. She'll know who she is. I don't like to say names, so I don't know if they'd be comfortable, but I started freaking out a little bit, kind of having like a mental breakdown, because like I knew I had to leave. I had no plan B, no plan C, no nothing. I had no plan. I was trying to figure out like what I'm gonna do. I have this kid, I have a car note, I have responsibilities. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do, right? And she was like, okay, like maybe, she tried to help me. She was trying to help me find a way. But in my heart, I knew I was like, I'm not supposed to stay here though. Like I can't stay there anymore though. I can't stay there anymore. I just know I'm not supposed to be there anymore. Um, and it was hard though, because like there was a upper echelon of people that I worked with that were amazing. And I had built a relationship with them, and I loved them. Like I loved working with them, and I feel like they loved me too. It was just the individuals that are like in my little area, probably in didn't really care for me too much, and that's fine. But it was the upper people. I'm saying there's two specific individuals. I'm trying not to say names and give job positions that, really believed in me. Oh no, there's three. There's three that really, really believed in me. Really so like seasoned me. And it was interesting because everything that they said was really great about me is what they said in the other people said in the meeting that were not like that I was not. You know what I'm saying? So they have these three individuals that are saying that these great things about me, and I must have been saying it to other people because when I went into the meeting, it was those things that I was attacked on, right? So now I'm like wrestling with, my character, my like work ethic, all of these things is this is all happening, right? And so, the lady at the cool kids was like, we could figure it out. And then there was another guy, what I'm saying, he worked with me. And he was like, maybe my daughter can pick up your son and blah, blah, blah. He was trying to figure it out too. And I was like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. So, I went to my boss, big boss, and I was like, you know, gonna have to go ahead and put I've been looking on the website, for the school or whatever, and, had a little chit chat with her. And so she's like, just let me know what you're gonna do. So I went ahead. It was like July 1st, maybe. I'd have to look at my little paper. And I came in early and I had a whole emotional breakdown at my desk. And he was like, I told you to put your notice in, He was like, but the truth is you don't trust me. And I was like, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I was like, you ain't give me no plans. I said, normally you give me your plans, A's, B's, and C's, and you ain't give me no plans. I need a plan. He was like, nah, not this time. I need for you to trust me. So I wrote my notice. 30-day notice. I was like, 30 days? That's a long time. But school started like August 1st or something like that, right? So wrote my notice and put it on my boss's desk. And then she called me in there and she was like, I just got your notice, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay. And then she informed the other person that I told you that I really liked working with. And they were like trying to get me. Now at this point, I don't know what happened in that conversation, but it was like, oh, maybe we could work with you. It was like maybe a couple days after, but I already had put in for some positions at different areas. And let me tell you this: once I gave the notice, it wasn't even the next day that I was getting offers. I was like, wait a minute. Wait, you mean I should have put my notice in way back? Like way, way back? You're like, okay, so because I really didn't trust you. So I'm gonna sum it up a little bit. In between that, what I'm saying, like people trying to get me to stay at this point, but it was so hostile, what I'm saying, in that I knew that if I stayed, what I'm saying, like eventually it'd probably go back to the way it was. Because there was never no disciplinary actions, like real ones, that could enforce a better change, or make a healthier work environment for an individual. And I hate to say that, like, I don't hate nobody, but it's the truth. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm telling this story. Um, so by the time I got done, like by the time God got done, I think I had like two offers. I had options. Now I didn't have no options in the beginning. So I took, the option and ended up being at the school. And thankful though, because my boss still helped me. She was a reference for me. She did help me, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what God pressed upon her heart, but I'm glad that she did listen to that. And that's it. That's vital too. Um, so so I switched positions, of course, got to another location. Location was fine. It was just time for me to go and be independent so that I wasn't tied to any any job or association or anything like that, so I can speak the truth. Because a lot of times when you work at locations, you kind of have a muzzle, you know what I'm saying, on your mouth, and you're not able to speak the truth, because it will expose certain things that happen behind closed doors. And there's like code of ethics per se, you know what I'm saying? So um but the reason why God relieved me from that place is because I was able to forgive them, and I was able to apologize even if I did not feel like I was wrong. Um and I was able to move forward, and then he said, okay, whoever needed to see that saw that, and hopefully they got a closer relationship with God, because that's only a God thing, because our pride and our ego normally doesn't let us do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'll be real. Like I wrestled with that for 3 days. You hear me? I was like, yeah, nah. No, 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 no. Uh-uh. No, I ain't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you just gotta listen. You gotta be humiliated. You gotta be embarrassed. You gotta look stupid. You gotta feel stupid. You gotta cry. You gotta be, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes God be putting you through it. Like you don't get to be, on the winning team and win because it's easy. It's not. So, anyways, last night. All right, so that's why I'm telling you, this spiritual warfare thing is super real. It's very real. Um, there are certain principalities that are over certain jobs, location, government statuses, anything, and you could be able to tell they come with confusion. It comes with jealousy, envy, and it takes just a little bit of jealousy and envy to creep into somebody's heart for those other spirits to start being able to do the thing, the manipulation, the gossiping, the lying, the what do you putting bugs in people's air, and all of those things. Those are all, like, that's not godly traits. So we all know that it's opposing kingdom. And then it also affects people's lives, like you making everybody uncomfortable. And anybody could talk about any job that you go to, it'd be the same type of thing. So this is a principality that is working in these areas, which wears you out. And the point is to wear you out so much that you cannot be a good mother or father or influence to the children around you to teach them how to be good, godly men and women in society, because you're so frustrated day in and day out about what's happening at your job. You can't function. And that's, to be honest, there are some people that really wake up and say, how can I make somebody miserable today? What can I do today? And that's just the truth. And sometimes you're placed in that environment to be a light, yes, but you have to also be learning something for yourself and then understanding when it's time to leave. So I was released from that area, thank God, put into another good area, and then um, personal circumstances pushed me into entrepreneurship. And God said, I will take care of you from here. And he has been doing it ever since. So I'm thankful and grateful for that. Every job taught me what to do when I got to this point, and I've messed up some, and he's put me right. He's always made sure that I have my basic needs provided, whether it be somebody helping me, my mom helping me, or something like that. Like to get to a certain point, I'm still getting provided for, while he gets me back, if not even back, like higher than where I was at, right? So just always remember that. So I say now I'm going to go to last night's phone meeting. I'm not going to say any names, but I'm going to make sure I try to do my best to not possibly offend anybody, because I think that um, this is a learning point for all of us. Okay, so the first thing is elections are important. Who you put in office is important. Their motives and their priorities and what they stand for is important. Their belief system. If you don't know the individual's belief system, you probably need to find out what their core moral values are before placing them into an establishment or a place in office. Okay. So So I put my thing in for that alderman position. This was like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, almost, right? I didn't get it. We went 8 rounds, humiliated, embarrassed. All of that happened to me, and I still decided to be a voice for the unseen and the unheard. Community probably wasn't happy about that. I don't know what they were thinking in their mind, but I was really only trying to fulfill um, what I had said I was going to do, whether I got the position or not. That was the thing, is that no matter if you get a position or not, you're supposed to move forward with the plan that you had. Like I said, I wasn't going to probably continue if I would have never got that message. So I did get the message. I continued, and it was a hard year. It was a lot of spiritual warfare, a lot of witchcraft, a lot of people coming for me and using me and lying on me and mistreating me, and a lot of money lost, a lot of time lost. I gained so much weight. I was so stressed out. I couldn't even think straight sometimes. Mm, mm. So sorry. Mm. Give me a second. So, um, I was angry. I was angry, not just at the people uh, who humiliated me. I was angry at all of the other stuff that was going on. I was just angry, even at the community for rejecting just anything positive and not understanding what happens or what goes on behind the scenes to make certain things happen. I was angry. And then, like, I had to make a decision to either stay angry or just forgive and move forward and still continue to do the right thing. I mean, like, I was helping people, like, with their rent and stuff, or like just or certain other things that y'all never know about. I'll never say no names. I'll never do that. But like, even those people after the fact was talking bad about me. Like, I did something to them and I never did anything to them. Nothing besides find a way to help them pay their bills. But okay, and it couldn't even pay my own. I remember I paid somebody car note, y'all, and I didn't even have heat in my house. I had like space heaters, okay, for real. And so sorry, I just be thinking about stuff. So then all right. So the individual that humiliated me that night, um um you know, for me, I just didn't understand. And I do understand because, I said something that probably was like, I said something that I shouldn't have said. Even, and I even said when I apologized, even if what I said was true, I shouldn't have said it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things that you say, you write it, and then you're like, I should not have said that. As soon as I wrote it, I was like, oh my God, it's too late. I was gonna have to commit, and that's the thing. Like, I just had to commit to it, and I knew, what I'm saying, that that day, that night, that evening, that I should was. I'm telling you, as soon as I hit the enter key, y'all, I was like, oh my God, no, it's too late. I'm gonna have to commit. Whether I'm right or I'm wrong, I'm gonna have to commit. And so, anyways, so I had to apologize to a slew of people. First of all, I didn't even have to apologize. There was a slew of people that needed to be confronted about things that they were doing or did behind closed doors that was dead wrong. And you'll never know who that is because it's not your business. Then I had to go and apologize to individuals that I offended. Okay, even if I feel like they deserved it. Okay, um, and then I had to cut off people that didn't have my best interest at heart, but then even the people that were very close to them. And that was hard too. Like I still have one or two people that when when I sent that message to them, I was crying. Mm. All right, I'm back. I had a moment. It's because I was like, it just hit me again. Not because I don't think that I made the right decision, but just because, like I love those people. I did. I thought we were cool, thought we were friends. And I mean, I'm not saying that they weren't my friend or whatever, but I do feel like it puts people in an awkward position. And I'm gonna tell you why, because this is gonna trip you out. So I did all that. There were certain people that I had to cut off. And since you be around people for a long time, you know how they're gonna react. No matter what they say, you've been around them for a while, so you know that they're going to be really offended and probably come for you. And so sometimes some people got blocked. Now there were some people that got blocked, and I just really just didn't want to see what they had going on, because I just didn't want to. And there's some people that got blocked because I just didn't want to deal with nobody's subliminals towards me. And it just sometimes you just gotta protect your space. Um, and then I was like, okay, I'm pretty much in a way down to nothing at this point, right? So now I'm really freaking out. Here's the do you really trust me moment. I'm telling you, like, mm. That's why now for me it's like there's no way I can't trust God in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not even telling you really the whole story. I'm just giving you like an overview, but there's just no way that I can't trust God. Like there's no way that I just cannot live my life, submitted to his will, to do what he tells me to do, to be a vessel, to be used by the Holy Spirit. There's no way. There's no way, because what transpired, one, was so spiritual and so wicked in so many ways, and then he just came through always, even at points where I was being disobedient, you know what I'm saying, and living kind of outside of his will. He still, like, I felt the weapons a little bit, but they didn't prosper, if that makes sense to you. So last night, Boma meeting, um there is one individual, that there's an employee, and I'm going to say this because every time I look at her, I try to understand the level of grace that she has, because I don't know if I could have been in her position and been being attacked in a way. And I don't even want to say attacked. I mean, I don't even want to say in a way. I just wanted, her job being questioned, or how she does her job being continuously questioned, or just all these things. Like, and she never, you guys, look, there's times when I was like, at least do a face or something, you know what I'm saying? And she just kept the smile and kept the same presence. And I feel like there's just such a grace about this individual that I admire, because I know that as me, like, at least like you're gonna get a face from me. She didn't do any of that ever. So I don't know what transpired prior to, because like I said, I hadn't been involved in these situations, for 3 to 4 months. I only went to this BOMA meeting last night because of the grant, and then was there for something else. And what I will say that I saw was, you will lose a good employee, um, if you do not stand up for that employee. And I feel like I've been plenty instances, or my last instance, not that one where I was pulling up and crying, where nobody stood up for me. I will say that one individual stood up for me, maybe two, really stood up for me. And I won't say their names, but I'm pretty sure I know that you guys stood up for me. Um, and then in my job prior to that, when I said that the doctor stood up for me, like the whole, y'all, I'm telling you. Mm. So last night, I felt like I saw that same instance, where I was stood up for. And I also saw the same instance in the beginning where I was like, is not anybody going to ever say anything to just kind of like diffuse the situation a little bit or just try to. So last night, and I mean, I guess you could go and watch it. And because we all don't know the entire story, or I'm going to say this, why doesn't everybody just start from the beginning? Start from the beginning of our last election when we swore in the new mayor and I think 2 aldermen. Just start there. Start there and, watch all of the meetings. You know what I'm saying? Um, Look at past things that were posted, look at the past newspaper stuff. Just, and this is to be fair on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you got to be fair. Just look for yourself before forming an opinion. Now, prior to this, we were going to every meeting um, after I didn't get that position. So we witnessed pretty much all of it. And so my whole thing is last night I seen individuals standing up for another individual that could have lashed out a long time ago or lost it or quit a long time ago because of the treatment that they have been enduring for a little while, for a while. But I didn't want to be there. Because even when it started, when the thing was put onto the agenda, the first thing I said was, "Oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to be here for this. I don't want to be here for this." And I may have chuckled just now, but I was so uncomfortable. Like, I wasn't even close to the door. If I was closer to the door, I would have left. I wouldn't even have stayed. I wouldn't have stayed. I want to be there for that. I think a lot of people are going to be like, well, why did it have to be done in public? Well, let's think about this. If other meetings were not done in public, but yet public knew about it because it's put on a post or put on a video, the only appropriate thing to do is to keep it public because it's now public. I mean, that's just logical. And I don't mean that's not being insensitive. It's just being logical. I think sometimes we do things and then we don't want the consequence of those things. We have to be careful about the seeds that we sow because they do sometimes come back. And sometimes, again, you could just be a believer going through warfare, or you could be a believer who's been being disobedient and God is trying to get you to repent. Okay? He's trying to get you to repent. He's trying to get you to forgive. He's trying to get you to let go of your bitterness and your anger and your resentment and whatever hurt has happened to you that caused you to be this way. He's trying to get you to get rid of it. Sometimes it's that. And a lot of times we don't want to admit to ourselves as believers, or we don't want to admit that we are harboring these things within us. And so when somebody wrongs us, we take vengeance instead of allowing God to do the vengeance, right? But last night, you know There was something, there was things stated, there was, and I'm gonna be honest, although confronting the issue was the right thing to do, making it aware, trying to get a resolution or just bringing it to the forefront, make sure it's not okay. I felt compassion for everybody on that stage. I felt compassion because I've been on every spectrum. You know what I'm saying? You know, been the aggressor, didn't think they were the aggressor. I've been, the person confronting the aggressor. I've been the support to try and make sure it doesn't happen again. And I've been the person being attacked, right? And I was like sitting there and I was like, I don't want to be here for this. I don't want to be here for this. But here's what irritated me. It wasn't anything that happened in that meeting, is what happened, um people's opinions after the meeting. You weren't there. I wasn't necessarily there when all of these things just happened. And one day people are like, this is the problem. The next day, this is the problem. The next day is that is the problem. Here, you want to know what the problem is? Y'all don't even be at the meetings. You don't know what's on the agenda. You don't know what's going on in your city. You don't know. And then you want to say that the board is a disgrace. Like, that's insulting. There's some people up there that really do care about the community. No, not the whole board is a disgrace. That's not fair. We got to take responsibility for allowing individuals to just do what they do, and yeah, you're not there. You weren't there. You weren't in there. You haven't been having to work with certain people and having to deal with. You don't know what it's like. So when we sit and we form judgment, like we've been sitting there, like it's been us that's endured it. It's like, who are you? What is going on? You don't even know that person's moral standings and value. You don't know what they've been through. You got to do better vetting and stuff like that. But it's a spiritual thing. You're not in tune with the Lord. You don't got discernment. You're gonna keep putting individuals in there. You know what I'm saying? You're going to keep doing that. You're going to keep missing people's agendas and what they plan to do with your money, with your city. We got to do what's right. A lot of times it's hard to do what's right. A lot of times people are going to have one-sided opinions and not understand the complete story. We're going to jump on sides and we're going to try and say that we got your back, and you don't know. I always say this, and this is even for me: be careful. Uh, like, you'll, after a while, somebody carries the gossiper that you sit and gossip with. They gossip about you. The liar that you sit and lie with. You know what I'm saying? They gonna lie to you and about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not exempt from being affected by somebody's personal demons. And people like to say, and this is my thing that irritates, what I believe doesn't matter. It doesn't affect what I'm going to do for the community, but it does. It does affect the community because that is your moral compass. And so we've got to be checking people's moral compasses before we put them in office. And that's just really what it is. But I didn't want to be there for that BOMA meeting. I really just wanted to hear about this grant, and I realized that I was really late on this grant situation, because if anything, I probably would have said we needed to propose something, but we can't. I don't know if we can still propose anything because I think that was done last night. So I don't know. I feel like there were a lot of people there, but there's a lot of other locations that need some developing that I mean, I didn't see any of them there. So we'll see what happens with the grant, which is most important. But spiritual warfare is real. It's very, very real, you guys. It's very real, especially in these political and authority sections. It's very real. And I know that people don't want to hear about spiritual warfare, and they don't want to hear about Jesus, and they don't want to hear about these things. But I mean, the Bible is so real. What is happening around us is so real, and I don't know. I'm a little reluctant to even have made this video. Um, but sometimes you just got to give your testimony, and a lot of this video and a lot of my testimony is the reason that the name of the Juneteenth event is Shattered Chains, because I feel like, you do this. I'm going to break these chains over my life. Let me break these ways of thinking. And you break them, and they last for like a week or maybe two. And then the only way that you can get real freedom is if you give it to Jesus and you really surrender your heart and you repent and you ask for forgiveness and you go and you do exactly what he tells you to do, no matter how humiliating it is for you and how embarrassed you are. And then he shatters those chains and you're able to be free. You're able to be free from people's opinions, and you're able to be free from all of the hurt and the pain and the trauma, and you're able to be free to be a vessel to be used to save individuals so that they can be free. And so shattered chains is different for me because I had been bound up for so long. And I can finally say and I know what real freedom is, and I know what real joy is, and I know what real understanding is, and I know what real peace is, and I just want that for you guys. I really do. I want it for you guys. I don't know, I'm crying. But it's just sad. It's sad to watch people be bound up. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. It is, and sometimes it's heartbreaking for me to even realize that I was that tore up and that I thought that, I had let God in all the way, and I hadn't. So Shattered Chains means a lot more to me than people will really realize. Um, and so I thank you for listening, and I just hope that when I continue the spiritual warfare thing, it will be next week, of course, and we'll see what lesson we go with. I think we went over Ephesians 6. I wanted to give you the armor, um, you know, how you fight a little bit, but I thought that I really was going to go through and break down the celestial hierarchy, so the hierarchy of the angels. And so I don't know. I haven't really been led to do that, and for some reason I feel like that's gonna lead you guys down a rabbit hole. And so I think I should just go straight to the armor before I actually go to that. So maybe that's what God is trying to do. But there's my testimony, and there's a little bit of my story, and go see about that ARP grant, and make sure you show up for the Juneteenth event. Make sure you know that it is Father's Day, and I know Mother's Day is coming up, and people want to focus on that, but there's several Bible verses in the New Testament that says that the fathers had to be restored back to the families and to the children. And if you don't notice that, the enemy is really attacking families, and they're really attacking men and their train of thought. I don't know why you don't see it, but it is being seen. And so I want to emphasize, that the fathers are important, and shattered chains, even for them, needs to be shattered prior to that day, and hopefully that day. We have some really great guest speakers coming. It's going to be a really good event. Um, but now you know based on the name. Check out Psalms 107, especially my people that are Afro American or yeah, just African American, Black, Negro, you know what I'm saying? Moreno, whatever you want to call it. But if you read Psalm 107, try to read it in the complete Jewish version or even in more English version where you can understand. You will see why we picked Psalms 107 because it kind of gives what we were doing that caused God to allow us to go into bondage and what we had to do to get out. And so, thank you for your time again. I love you guys, and make sure you get those chains shattered. Trust Jesus, not me.